Because of history and reality, even when a black man directs the N-word angrily against another black person, it isn't accompanied with the racial superiority implication attached to the original term. Again, context matters. When someone who isn't black uses it in an intentionally provocative manner, it's a declaration of not just hostility to a perceived lack of character, but a specific reference to the lowest observable tendency assigned to black people, whether it applies to the person who receives it or not. Which means there's a dehumanizing intention attached to it. And while violent reactions to the term are unjustified, those who aggressively use this term shouldn't be surprised when someone they've chosen to respond to or provoke decides to rise or fall to the level that was assigned to them. I'm not going to pretend that I haven't seen or noticed the pattern of behavior of physical impulsivity that's been assigned to nigger. I have. It doesn't benefit me or anyone else to pretend otherwise. I'm not someone who believes that stereotypes are born purely from fantasy, or that denying them makes someone a sophisticated thinker. Quite the opposite. But this noticing isn't new at all. The noticing was behind racism in the first place. What is new is that algorithms are now, for some reason, good or bad, probably bad, pushing more of this content out. To some extent, this can be explained by viewer preferences, but I don't believe that preferences, as important as they are the exclusive determining factor of what's going into people's feed. And the fact that platforms have announced changes to their algorithms in the past is a confession of results rigging and proves that search results are not truly organic. If you're seeing something online, it's because engineers behind it want you to see it, not just based on your preferences, but on theirs as well. This should be common sense to anyone with a smartphone, and smarter people might ask themselves why this is happening, and in particular, why now? The dictionary definition of respect tells us a little bit about respect, but its root components are, once again, far more revealing. When we consider the parts of the word itself, we can make some grounded, tangential inferences. Respect etymologically and in practice means to take another look, or to look again. From this we can infer the compassion, patience, and decency to consider things and other people further than we might have upon first sight. It means taking another look, past one's immediate assumptions, and in an earnest effort to validate their accuracy on behalf of the humanity or potential humanity of the other person. Acts in terms of disrespect tell the other person that, "You're not worth my time to consider. I've figured you out, and my limited assumptions alone are good enough for you." So casting the N-word flippantly on someone, particularly upon your first encounter with their poor behavior, or without sufficient information to render an informed verdict, is inherently disrespectful, and it's situationally unwise and unnecessary. And shouting it from the rooftops is childish stuff. And even though it may feel good, it's unlikely to help in the moment. And there is an irony in this. One of the supposed characteristics of these so-called ninjas is low impulse control, or more specifically, hastily reacting before thinking. Based on that, isn't it pretty niggardly to recklessly project that term onto someone, even in consideration of behavioral patterns, when the only definitive information you have to go on is skin tone and a singular reactive moment? When someone meets a black person, they're not meeting black people any more than they're meeting the Jews when they meet a Jewish person, or whitey when they meet a white person. Depending on our past experiences, it may be easy to default to angry reaction on very powerful, real negative experiences. I've had them. But as hard as it may be for many of us, we ought not do this because it's not fair. We may judge. We may even prejudge. But if we can avoid making ourselves executioner based on our judgments, we can avoid degrading ourselves. So I'm not even saying that anyone needs to let their guard down. This is not advice against being quietly reserved or internally defensive upon considering strangers of any kind. This is a caution against reckless, offensive reactions to our beliefs. In our world right now, it's understandable to have our antennas up a bit. Just don't go around poking people with it. And I'm speaking from experience here, because I've been called this word before, and each time, behaviorally speaking and situationally, it was silly, lame, and totally didn't apply. As I've gotten older, my concerns surrounding this word have vanished, leaving not even a hint of that N-word sting.
My friend and I will say, "Neh."
Do your worst.
My adherence to a personal code of conduct, though hardly perfect, has made this particular term inapplicable to me. It would be a category error, and anyone who would lamely attempt to call me it in person or online might as well call me a Norwegian while they're at it, because it would be that ridiculous. Our actions, baseline disposition, and habits alone will automatically make an obvious liar out of anyone obtuse enough to try to niggify another person with whatever kind of narrow term occurs to them. Speaking for myself, I'm not insecure enough to care either way, because anyone who try to pin something on you that doesn't apply is revealing their own inferior character. And who are they for you to care about?
What is happening?
Chelsea set you up. She invited all those people to come watch you make a fool of yourself.
It's okay. I'm not a fool, and she cannot make something out of me that I am not.
Rose, we have to do something.
I will turn the other cheek, because that is what princesses do.
And that would be my advice to any young black person, or any person really. Make liars out of the little critics and strangers you may cross in your world. And don't do it in anticipation of anyone's opinion or approval. Do it simply for the sake of being dignified and right, which is the only real strength worth pursuing. A quick story. In the 2nd grade, a classmate took a little yellow pencil sharpener that I liked from my desktop after I went to use the bathroom. Later in the day, I caught her with it and was able to prove the theft because there was a tiny distinct mark I left on it for just that very reason. The point is that this kid, because of her group, was allowed to simply be a little momentary thief. It didn't occur to me, and it probably didn't occur to my teacher to consider it racially. And there was no race-based designation that could have applied to her. She was just a kid after all. But because she wasn't black, she was simply allowed to have made that mistake. And that's fair enough to me. But there are people that have a hard time extending that kind of consideration and grace to people who don't look like themselves. And believe it or not, anyone who disrespects you on the basis of race, in either direction, because this really does work both ways, in most cases, that's a them problem, not a you problem.